Hello everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. I hope you guys are having a great Sunday afternoon. Um, it's funny, we were talking about Ambi earlier today and her accent on Instagram with her dog. That's enormous, which someone said looked like a mastiff. I'm sure maybe it looked really big. And she was like, Matador! 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 Come here, Matador! She became Mexican while she was talking to her dog, let's just say. Um, or I don't even know. There's so many countries that speak Spanish. She could have been speaking the dialect from Ecuador or maybe from Colombia. Who knows? Who knows? Just Matador. Okay. Anyways, so while she was over on Instagram being all like, your negativity can't get me down. Don't listen to all those crappy people. I'm going to be great no matter what. In case you forgot what she said, here, I'll show you a little ditty. Remember who I am, not what you hear. Your negativity can't faze me anymore. I've learned this past month how ignorant people can be. I'm going to be just fine in any aspect of my life, still sending love to all the intelligent, beautiful souls. Well, not to be outdone, actually, I don't really think this has anything to do with Anver's post, but earlier this morning, in fact, Andrew posted some photos of baby James, which is actually amazing because we haven't seen him at all since her incident, her cucumber wielding incident in July, and that happened on July 4th. It is now August 4th, so it's been 1 month since we've seen any photos of James online or any updates about how he's been. And Andrew actually gave us some little nuggets today, and I'm going to share those with you. So here we go. So he showed a photo of Mr. James getting a haircut, which is so adorable. One of him in a field kissing his little boy. And then another of James looking at, with his hair blowing in the wind, watching the water on a pontoon with it saying the focal point of existence. Now, the responses to Andrew online were actually really favorable. People were very supportive of him and giving him support for being such a good father, for being there for his child, for making sure that his child is doing well. And that, his statement, the focal point of existence, is basically his, I would say, way of saying that this isn't about me, this isn't about you, this is about James. And it's probably the more mature way to go here. So what Amber is doing is deflecting and railroading and gaslighting away from her issues. And Andrew has consistently kind of taken the higher road throughout all of this. He did an interview last week with the Daily Mail TV where he actually talked mostly just about his son and on how he's worried about whether or not he'll be able to provide good memories for his son. And he said that that's what his focus is going to be on, is making sure that James is loved and gets all kinds of attention and gets lots of affection so that he doesn't go through any sort of trauma during this period of time. He also talked about what his fears were for the future with his son. And he really placed no blame in any of these places on Amber, instead really focusing on the fact that, he wanted and tried to get her help and he saw her health declining and no one was listening to him. He's never publicly trashed her. He's not said anything really negative about her. He's only sort of defended himself against the accusations that she's made that he's cheating on her or he's done this or he's done that. And, when someone actually went onto his Instagram and tried to go after Amber for her actions and say what a POS she was, he even called that person out and was like, please don't attack Amber. She's still part of my family. I love her. And that hurts my heart when you say these things about her. And And so this is still a guy that, despite everything they've been through, seems to really care about her and wants the best for her, and seemed to fight really, really hard for her, given all of the issues that have been going on in their relationship, and ultimately was not able to get her the help she needed, and everything sort of came to a head on July 5th. And now he's at a position where, okay, we can't move forward. It seems like this relationship is I can't even say the word. Irrecoverably, I can never say that word. Irrecoverably? I don't know. You guys can laugh at me. It's broken. They can't repair it. And there's really no going back at this point for these two. And oh my gosh, I just noticed how my dogs completely destroyed the couch behind me. I'm sorry. So they can't repair it, but what they can do is, what he can do is try to move forward, try to provide a good life for James, make sure that he has a good support system, make sure that he has good memories. And it looks like James is having, it's hard to say on the surface, obviously, what he's going through. It's not going to be easy for any child to not have their mother around them anymore, but at least he's providing him some level of normalcy, giving him some memories, getting him a haircut, spending time with him, doing the things that he needs to do as a father, and taking the steps that irreparable. There you go. Thank you. Irreparable. I was thinking of irrevocably. Irrevocably. I was combining the two words together, you guys. Sometimes my ADHD brain, it scrambles stuff. And I mispronounce stuff, and I think sometimes faster than I speak faster than I think. So thank you, chat, for pointing that out. Irreparably broken, exactly. Or irrevocably broken, both. They're both. The relationship's broken, okay? So Andrew's doing his best to move forward, provide James everything. And the court is doing their part to ensure that James has is taken care of and remains safe. Now, a lot of people in the comments over the last few days have talked about how, I see a mix. I see a mix of comments. I see a lot of people that are blaming Andrew and saying that he's an opportunist and he had this all planned out and he was just going to do this to take her pain. And it's always, she's the one that's always getting, she's always getting taken advantage of. Multiple people have said that. And if you recently said that, I'm not trying to point it out to you. It's just, that's a theme of the comments that I get on these videos, is that she gets taken advantage of. These men are opportunists. They want her money, blah, 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 blah. And then the other mix is supportive of Andrew, angry at Amber. And I think, there's kind of a balance here of okay, we want Amber to get better. She hasn't gotten better yet. It's been 10 years of this really bad behavior. So at this point, all we can really do is thank the fictitious God in the sky that there are men in this case, regardless of what their motives are, that are going to step up and take care of these kids. And I think that's really where we should be focusing our energy on. Not that Andrew wanted this. I don't think anyone goes into a relationship, period, with the notion that they're going to get somebody pregnant and then have that person that they love completely flip out and then they have to become a single parent. Nobody genuinely walks into parenthood with that idea in mind. That would be really sinister. I would err on the side of reality, with more he probably loved her, probably still loves her, probably wasn't the best judge in getting involved with her of character, but nonetheless still got involved with her. Maybe they both have some codependency issues, who knows? But at this point, you can't go off of what happened then. You have to go off of what happens now. And now the men, i.e. Gary and her, and now Andrew, are basically forced into the situation because of behavior that she has done. And it's not a choice. And so people are saying, oh, he's taking the kid away from her. No, he's not taking anything away. There was nothing to take. This isn't he's forcing anyone to make this decision. Like this, it's like her actions have led to this decision by the court. The court has said she's not safe to have the child without supervision. And that's not Andrew's choice. He can only fight and advocate for his son and for his son's best interests. And if she's not in the best state mentally and isn't taking care of herself, that's not a good place for a child. No matter how much you love someone, if you aren't healthy mentally, you shouldn't, it's not going to be a good place or a safe place for a kid. So I think we need to be kind. I really, I have a lot of empathy for him. I feel badly for her, but I also feel like she needs to get her crap together. And this is a pattern. And now this pattern is continuing, and it's just going to keep continuing if she doesn't get help. Now, there's a lot of issues in the United States with lack of services for mental health and all of that kind of good stuff. And I write articles about that all the time on my Pathios website. In fact, earlier today, I wrote about an article about a little boy that was thrown over a balcony at the Mall of America by a man that had been dealing with severe issues with his mental health for years, in and out of facilities, services with the county, living in homes for people with those types of issues, and never and bouncing around, going from homeless to normal, and never having the access or the services he needed to. And it ultimately led to this man being so unwell and so sick that he lashed out and did that and threw the little boy. And I think we forget sometimes that yes, mental health is not an excuse, but it does explain things. And in the case of that man, he was suffering from a lack of services and support. And that is a really big issue for people, especially that are not rich or don't have good jobs or don't have good insurance. But in the case of Amber, she has all of those things. So it's when it happens to someone because they can't get the services, but they desperately want them. And then you have someone like Amber, who has basically everyone in the world offering to help her, and she won't get help. That's really frustrating, because there's now this man who probably would have died to have the type of services. His mother probably would have been so grateful to have that kind of help. He's going to be in prison for 19 years. So, there's a lot of issues in our mental health, in the mental health world. And then there's, it's just so frustrating. She had so many options. She had so many people that wanted to help her, so much access to care that so many millions of people in the United States can't. There's massive waiting lists for children to get into healthcare facilities to manage a myriad of diseases with their mental health. And yet she has access to doctors, the best doctors in the United States, and still won't get healthy. So that's the part I think that frustrates people a lot. So it's really, it's frustrating. It's aggravating. I feel when stuff like this happens, I always feel like nobody's winning, and she's not winning if this is really related to mental stuff, or her illnesses. But at the same time, some of this could just be behavioral. And if it's behavioral, then that's not an excuse. That's just her making bad choices. So thankfully, Mr. James is doing well. I'm really happy to see those photos of him, and I'm happy to see him smiling, because I think a lot of times when we talk about this, we sort of forget that there is a little boy in the middle of this that really didn't deserve any of this. So thank you to Andrew for stepping up. Hopefully he can get the services that he needs, not only for himself, but for his son, to make sure that they both recover from this. And hopefully the courts will continue to keep both of them safe. And so they don't have to be distracted by a lot of this gaslighting that's going on by Amber in the media. All right, you guys, I will be back later with some more truth, because what do we do without a crystal ball? We sip the truth, not the tea. All right, you guys, bye.